So what are the techniques to shading a smooth looking skin with pen? In this video, I'm going to break down the exact method and tricks I use to make smooth shadings like this one, and we are starting right now. Pen drawing does not require so many expensive materials, so all you need is your pen and tissue paper for blending. So what are these secrets to smooth shading? Okay, I divided it into three parts. One is shading, the second is blending, and the third is contrasting. But then, knowing that the secrets are these three things is one thing, but knowing how to use them is another thing. So how do you apply these three things in your work with pen? And that brings us to this pre-finished artwork of Ariana Grande. As you can see, I've gone ahead to shade the eyes, nose, mouth, leaving us with the cheeks, ears, and so on. So where do we start from? Let's start with the forehead, using the first step, shading. I will be using the hatching and cross-hatching shading techniques. Hatching is drawing parallel lines in one direction, while cross-hatching is drawing intersecting lines in multiple directions. The closer the lines, the darker the shadings will be. Okay, the head is heading, so we head to the forehead by shading with the hatching. I always hatch in a diagonal pattern like this and not like this. Note this now. And while hatching, I ensure the highlights are not tampered. And since this is the first layer, I leave it as light as possible, but still applying fading gradients between the shadows and the light areas like this. Okay, now we are done with the hatching. We cross hatch in the opposite diagonal pattern like this. And I still maintain the highlights and make the shadows differ from the lighter areas in fading pattern, or let's call it gradients. So that being done, guess what's the next step? Correct, the blending. Blending plays a vital role in making every artwork to look smooth, and that's where our tissue paper comes in. I use this soft tissue paper to massage the shaded area very lightly, and be very careful here because something that helps you the most can still destroy you the most. Why? Because this piece of tissue has the superpower of blending over your highlighted areas, and your work won't have highlights anymore. So gently scrub the tissue on the shaded areas with intentions of not scrubbing over the highlights. Thank you. Now this is what we call epitome of smoothness right there. But wait, knowing these two steps, which are the shading and blending, is a big flex. But knowing how to contrast it is a bigger flex. Now, what do I actually mean by contrast here? Okay, contrast is another feature which its duty is to make the drawing look sharper, popping, and eye-catchy. Contrast makes the eyes look more realistic, as well as the nose, the mouth, even the hair and the ear. So how do we add contrast to our drawing? We do that by darkening the darkest areas and separating it from the highlighted areas. Okay, enough of the talking. Let's add contrast to the eyes. But when you look at this drawing at hand, wait, seems like we already added the contrast. Okay, let's throw back to when it was looking so faddy and how I added the contrast. I started by darkening the pupils and avoid shading over the highlights, reflecting on the iris. I observe my reference picture and notice the places which are very dark on the face and make sure that it is also very dark on my drawing, including the dark hairs, eyebrows, ears, etc. Liking this video and subscribing to this channel will mean a lot because we need only 50 subscribers to hit the 1K milestone. So if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. Okay, so after contrasting, we got this from this. I went ahead to finish up the drawing off camera. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything because I followed the same process we discussed here, and at the end we get something like this. Okay, knowing how to make a smooth shading is a very important thing, but knowing how to draw the outlines that you can shade on is another major thing in art. You have to know how to draw the outlines to resemble your reference before going into shading. And that is why this video here is what you need to watch next. Watch that, and I will see you in the next one.